Episode 2 starts. As the cleanup crew took care of the Minotaur and the fallen fighters, Princess Lindbergh felt the weight of their deaths on her shoulders. Her knight dashed to her side, apologizing for not being there in the dungeon. It was her duty to protect Lynn, after all. But Lynn, with a reassuring smile, reminded her that it wasn't her fault. This was supposed to be a basic trial for the right to the throne, and dragging her knight along would have been overkill. Another knight approached, telling Lynn they had to return to the castle because Lord Rain wanted to have a word with her. She already knew the topic, the Minotaur disaster. Back at the castle, Lord Rain was perplexed. The only way a Minotaur could end up in that dungeon was if it had been magically summoned. A knight concurred, pointing out a dead merchant at the scene with a ring bearing an exceptionally pure magic stone, something you don't find at your local market. The knight went on to explain that an level demon like a Minotaur isn't just some rich guy's pet. The crest on the ring was from the magical empire of Doritos. Lord Rain had a hunch they were behind it. Leaving such obvious evidence behind was a blatant attempt to bait him into starting a war, giving them an excuse to seize control of the dungeon. Rain is deeply intrigued by the mysterious warrior who saved Lynn. According to reports, this guy took down a Minotaur in seconds with nothing more than a broken sword. Castle spies tried to tail him, but he vanished into thin air. Rain is determined to unmask this enigmatic hero. Meanwhile, Norn returns to the guild, where the guild master is shocked to see him alive. Rumor had it a demon popped up in the dungeon near Norn's job site, sparking fears for his safety. Norn explains he was tailed by some shady folks last night, so he slipped away and went home without reporting. The guild master tells him he's lucky to be breathing since a Minotaur can obliterate a rank adventurer in seconds. Unbeknownst to Norn, the guild master is talking about the very Minotaur he defeated. Curious, Norn asks what happened to the beast. The guild master mentions it was taken down by some mystery man. Norn, blissfully unaware that he's the mystery man, carries on with his job report. The guild master pays him but reminds Norn he'd make more money with a stable job. Norn shrugs it off. Adventuring is his true love, not wealth. Suddenly, Lynn appears, saying she's relieved to finally track him down. She apologizes for the intrusion, explaining she used her long-distance detection skill to find him because she desperately wanted to see him again. Norn assumes she's a thief-class adventurer with detection skills, but Lynn reveals she's a magician with basic skills in all classes. The guild master and patrons begin to recognize Lynn, so she asks Norn if they can talk outside. The guild master grabs Norn, demanding to know what he did to make Lynn seek him out. Norn assures him he's done nothing illegal and won't get into trouble. The guild master reluctantly tells him to go with Lynn and not to do anything stupid. Outside, Lynn uses a concealment skill, apologizing again for the intrusion and acknowledging that a man of his power must be busy. Norn says it's no problem. Lynn thanks him for saving her and many others, but Norn downplays it, calling it taking down a cow and believing Lynn could have managed without him, despite witnessing knights get slaughtered by the Minotaur. Lynn insists she would have died without his help. Norn, still downplaying his role, finally accepts her thanks. Lynn insists on giving him a reward and mentions her father wants to meet him. Norn firmly refuses any reward. Desperate, Lynn asks if there's anything she can do for him, even offering him his own territory. Norn remains steadfast. Lynn, on the verge of tears, pleads for him to accept her gratitude, refusing to move until he agrees. Norn, recalling a similar tantrum he once threw to get a cleric to train him, reluctantly agrees to meet her father, insisting he wants no extravagant gifts. Lynn, overjoyed, tells Norn to stick close so she can use her concealment skills to avoid being seen. Eventually, they arrive at Lynn's house. As they enter, Lynn asks for Norn's name, which he provides. Realizing he doesn't know her, Lynn introduces herself as Lindbergh Clays, usually called Lynn. Seeing the grandeur of the house, Norn realizes Lynn wasn't kidding about her wealth, explaining the guild master's earlier concern. As they walk, they meet a woman. Lynn eagerly asks her about her father and is told he's in a meeting with Rain. The woman also asks about Norn, and Lynn explains he saved her life. The woman offers to lead them to her father. Norn, unfamiliar with royal knights, assumes she's a maid in armor and senses her dislike for him without understanding why. They encounter a man by the window. He notices them and asks the woman, Ian, about their business and Norn's identity. Ian tells Gilbert to put his spear away, as Norn is a guest. Gilbert, realizing Norn is Lynn's savior, complies. Ian asks Norn to follow them, needing all the help she can get. Gilbert's poor impression of Norn makes him uneasy, but he follows. In the throne room, the king is in a heated discussion with Rain about Doratus's betrayal. Rain foresaw this, especially after the king of Doratus demanded control of the dungeon, a request that was flatly denied. Since then, the king of Doratus has been plotting their downfall. Lynn and company arrive, and Lynn excitedly greets her brother and father. Ian and Gilbert kneel, but Norn walks in casually. Rain notices Lynn's disguise cloak, indicating she sneaked out. Lynn explains she had to find her savior. The king, realizing she means Norn, thanks him formally. Norn, apologizing for his messy state, explains Lynn insisted on coming immediately. Norn admits he isn't an aristocrat and might speak rudely, but the king assures him it's fine and prefers casual speech. The king thanks Norn for saving Lynn, offering any reward he desires. Norn declines. The king ups the ante to half the dungeon's treasures, but Norn still refuses. Stumped, the king retrieves a valuable sword as a gift. Rain advises against it, but the king insists it's fine, as it's rarely used. Norn reluctantly accepts the sword, sensing its value. The king asks for a demonstration, and Norn's swing generates surprising force, impressing everyone. The king praises Norn's strength and asks him to train Lynn. Norn declines, believing Lynn should decide for herself. Ready to leave, Norn notes the sword's perfect shape for cleaning gutters, planning to try it out in the morning. Before leaving, Ian apologizes for her earlier rudeness. Norn, understanding her protective duty, accepts. Ian warns him to avoid casual speech with the king in the future. Norn agrees, noting Ian's odd reaction to his name. As he prepares to leave, Gilbert challenges him to a fight. And that wraps up episode 2. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next part.